Go.
Hey, so welcome back, guys. I'm Kenny,
I'm Zuli.
and I want to talk more about influence and becoming a better leader that has great influence. And you know, Zuli, I think today, I know last week we talked about, kind of 4 different steps. I want to get a little away from that. Is that cool?
That's fine.
I want to just maybe go into some things that are some do's and don'ts when it comes to influencing, and go a little bit deeper in these next few sessions. I should say though that one of the things, and you know this, right? Last year that I did, or this past year that I did, was I became a John Maxwell certified leader, speaker, trainer, and coach. So I got to say that because some of the content, in fact, most of the content that we're using comes from John Maxwell. So thank you for that. So when it comes to influencing, I mean, let's talk first about some things that you shouldn't do, right? Because we all have been there where we have leaders that influence people in the wrong way. So we've heard of this before, right? I'm going to influence you just by force.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. Has that ever happened to you?
That happened to me a couple of times, and believe me when I say it didn't work. It actually made me rebel more than it did respond the way they wanted me to.
So you rebelled instead of responding in a good way.
Correct.
Because nobody ain't gonna force you to do anything.
Absolutely not.
Right. I think, and a lot of our kids that work in the store, in our stores, right, they don't want to be forced to do anything.
No.
Right? I mean, as leaders, we've got to make it less and less and less, very far in between, right? To say, hey, you have to go over there and do this.
Yeah, just the word have to is not a good start.
Yeah.
Because you're already taking the option off the table for that person.
It's a bad start, you're right, when you say have to. So I guess we'll get into it in a few seconds. What if somebody doesn't do what you've asked them to do? We'll get into that in a few seconds. But there's another word that popped up on the screen here, right? Intimidation.
Which is a no-go also.
Oh, so do you ever intimidate your people?
Absolutely not.
No, I know you don't. But have you worked with leaders that do?
I have.
Yeah.
I have, and again, it doesn't work out well.
Yeah.
You don't get the responses that you expect, and if you do get them to do what it is that you're asking them to do, it's not their best work or their best foot forward, because again, you took the option away from them and you're forcing them to do something that they're not comfortable doing.
Yeah. And I think intimidation, right, it's very, very obvious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So when someone is trying to intimidate someone, sometimes it's even a physical thing, right? Someone might stand real close to you, hover over you, say specific words, maybe make, threats, things like that. It becomes very, very obvious. So I think we can agree that we get more out of people when they want to do something as opposed to when they're intimidated or forced to do something, right?
Agreed. Yep.
And there's a lot of things as we go into 2018 that we need our people to do, right? So we want them to want, to actually do it.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this other word that just popped up, man? Why don't you say it? That's a tough one.
Manipulation.
Oh.
That word shouldn't even be a topic of conversation. You shouldn't have to manipulate absolutely anyone to do anything, because it all falls back into what we just talked about. They're not going to do what needs to get done, when it needs to get done, and how it needs to get done. It's just going to be done because they had to do it.
Great point. And manipulating people, there are people that can get manipulated and they don't even realize it, right? Because there are manipulators that can get really good at that.
Yeah.
But I think this is fair to say, right? There's nobody that's watching this video, nobody that works in our district that is stupid. People know when they're being manipulated.
Absolutely.
People know when they're, when you're having some ulterior motive to have them do something. So by force, intimidation, manipulation, we got to take that out of our vocabulary. And there's no leader that should ever, I don't think there's any time or place to use any one of those
there shouldn't be.
qualities, right? And the unfortunate part is that there's some people that got good at these, because it worked for them maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
But, we were going to talk about motivation today as opposed to inspiration. Manipulation, force, intimidation, all those things are very, very, very short term.
Yes.
Because if I still want my job, I'm probably going to do what you just asked me to do, whether I want to do it or not.
Yeah.
So Well, let's turn it around and let's talk about a couple of things that are really good things when it comes to influencing people. How about this one that just popped up?
Exchange. Exchange is extremely important because, like I said before, you're giving and you're taking. So you're putting your best foot forward. You're putting yourself out there. You're training, teaching, coaching, however you want to phrase it, because you think that that's the right thing, and you know that that's what's going to get either those reps, anybody around you, where they need to be. And in turn, they're taking in all this information, and as we mentioned last week, they're taking it into stride because they believe in you, they believe in what it is, they trust you, they believe in what it is that you're trying to say to them, they believe that you want the best thing for them.
Yeah.
So they're going to take in everything that you're telling them to do or you're asking them to do because they believe in your vision, pretty much.
Yeah. And I couldn't have said that better. I mean, that's fantastic. And just that word exchange, and you guys can't see it, but there's a little picture of two people shaking hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so why would we as leaders not want to hear what our people think and feel?
Yeah.
You know, and not give them an opportunity to tell us, hey, you know, Zuli, how about if we tried it this way?
Yeah, you always have to be open to trying different things because everybody has a different vision. Everybody has different approaches. You know, you have a lot of the younger kids who think that social media and other things might work better than handing out flyers and making phone calls and things like that. You have to be open to taking in the information and kind of running with it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You tried it, it doesn't work, you move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have that exchange of ideas, you become a better influencer because the person that's exchanging ideas with you, wow, Zuli really listened to me. Kenny really listened to me. You know, he or she heard my point of view. So now you have that influence, and now someone, if it's their idea, someone's going to want to do it, you know, even more than, or certainly more than if you forced them or you intimidated them or you told them, hey, you've got to absolutely do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Exchange of ideas. I think, you know what, I think we'll leave it there because I think that's such a powerful word, right? So we'll leave you with that, guys. And we'll come back next week and we'll talk a little bit more about persuasion, because sometimes persuasion, people can think it's a bad thing, but I think persuasion in the way we can present it, it's really a good thing, right? But exchange of ideas, listening to your people makes you a better influencer. Force, intimidation, not persuasion, but force and intimidation, manipulation, all really, really negative things. And we need to get away from that. It's 2018. We're going to take our district to another level this year, right?
Absolutely.
And we are going to make sure that it is a full team effort. It's not just Zuli's store. Yeah, I love this about you, and we'll end this way. Every time I'll send you a compliment, you always say, it's my team.
Yeah.
You know, like yesterday you guys had a great accessory day, and I sent you a little message, hey, great job. And you said, it's my team. And I think that really gets people to, to work even harder, right? When you give them the full credit.
I wouldn't be where I'm at without them.
Yeah.
And I know
absolutely.
that, and I try to tell them that all the time. Sometimes I bust their chops, but it's more because I know what they're capable of. But I will never take credit for absolutely anything because I am who I am because of them.
Absolutely.
My numbers are what they are because of them.
Absolutely. So exchange of ideas. All right, we'll come. We could do this again next week?
Yes, sir.
It's good? We come back here?
Yes,
all right, all good. All right, thank you guys. If we don't see you, have a phenomenal New Year. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. And we're going to kick 2018 off in style. Take care, guys.